First Coast News begins with breaking news.
And that breaking news at 11 tonight, former Jacksonville Sheriff and newly elected U.S. Representative John Rutherford is alert and in good spirits tonight after being rushed to the hospital in Washington, D.C.
Congressman Rutherford was taken out of the Capitol building tonight on a stretcher, and he was just sworn into office last week. Let's get right out to Chari Rodriguez. She is live now outside of his Jacksonville office on the south side with the breaking details. Chari, what can you tell us?
That's right, Heather. As you and Anthony mentioned, Representative Rutherford is alert, in good spirits, and did not suffer a heart attack. And that information is coming to us from his chief of staff. We're currently right now working to figure out exactly what happened to Representative Rutherford. The former Jacksonville sheriff was elected to serve as a representative for Florida's 4th Congressional District and was sworn in last week on January 3rd. But before his congressional campaign, he also served as Duval County Sheriff from 2003 to 2015. He's very well regarded in Jacksonville. Our own Mayor Lenny Curry posted this to his Twitter saying, "Prayers to my friend John Rutherford." We also reached out to Representative Al Lawson. He was sworn in around the same time as Congressman Rutherford. He told me he is still in shock after learning that Rutherford was rushed to the hospital. And Mr. Lawson says he was leaving the House chambers after today's final vote when his staff told him what happened.
At first, I didn't want to believe it, so it came as a shock. And I immediately thought about his wife, Patricia, because I knew that she had had surgery earlier, knee surgery, and it might be difficult for her coming, but I know she's on the way. I would just ask the people of Duval and the state of Florida is to keep John and Patricia in their prayers.
We're also hearing from other reports that Congressman Neil Dunn from Panama City, who was also just elected and is a surgeon, was one of several people who tended to Rutherford at the Capitol. For now, reporting live, I'm Chari Rodriguez for First Coast News.
Ellison Barber with our sister station in Washington, D.C. continues our team coverage now. And Ellison, we understand that this happened in the cloakroom at the Capitol. Describe that area for us.
Well, it's situated right off of the House floor. Both Democrats and Republicans have it, and they each have their own rooms. The thing to remember is that members go to the U.S. Capitol to vote, but that's not actually where their offices are. There are 3 different office buildings on the House and Senate side that are separate from the U.S. Capitol. So if a member is voting and they have a series of votes, they might not necessarily have time to make it all the way back to their office. So they'll typically go into that cloakroom to hang out and work in between votes.
So in a situation like this, with a medical emergency, who would respond? And with this happening during rush hour, how long would it take to get to the hospital?
Well, typically the first person who's going to respond is someone from the office of the attending physician. There are medical doctors that work in the Capitol. It's staffed by the U.S. Navy. A lot of staffers will actually go to them just for regular checkups to get their flu shot. So if there's a medical emergency, they're probably going to be one of the first people there. My understanding is they were immediately there in this situation, and so was D.C. Fire and EMS, and that's a pretty standard practice if they have a medical emergency at the U.S. Capitol. The person who would actually transport the congressman would be D.C. Fire and EMS. They don't release exactly where they take patients. They just say they always take them to the nearest hospital. In this case, it would most likely be George Washington University Hospital. That's what they've used in the past when they have transported other members from the U.S. Capitol. It's about 2.5 miles away from the Capitol to get to GW. With traffic, it could be between 10 and 15 minutes, even given that an ambulance, of course, has those lights on and gets a bit of a pass around some of the traffic. But at best, you're probably looking at a 10 to 15-minute commute from the Capitol to the hospital.
Ellison Barber in Washington, D.C., thank you so much. And we will, of course, continue to monitor the Congressman's health overnight, so be sure to tune in to Good Morning Jacksonville starting at 4:30 for the latest updates.
He survived an IED explosion. Now a veteran and his canine service dog are fighting on a new battlefield.
It just turned out to be a horrible day.
Asked to leave his seat and exit a plane, the airline believed his service dog wasn't real. Tonight, a victory for the sergeant and his canine, Bella. And he was embarrassed, humiliated, his travel plans ruined. But tonight, a veteran has won his fight against a major airline. Julia Janae is on your side with what this means for our veterans with service animals.
That's right, Anthony. Advocates for disabled veterans, especially those suffering from PTSD, are considering this decision a major victory for veterans who rely on service animals. Now, this federal order from the Department of Transportation was filed today, and it says that American Airlines violated the Air Carrier Access Act, and it orders them to make changes within the next 30 days. Now, tonight I sat down with Crowell's biggest advocate, his attorney, who's also a veteran, on what it took to get American Airlines' attention.
It's a slap in the face in the best of circumstances.
2 years for civil rights attorney Bill Shepard taking on American Airlines and its employees that he says should have accommodated both Sergeant Crowell and his service dog.
That didn't happen here. So now American Airlines gets to train all of their ticket agents.
The Department of Transportation ordered the airline Wednesday to retrain all reservation agents and gate agents on how to identify and treat the disabled that rely on service animals.
The fact that most folks with service dogs, I'll submit to you, are combat veterans. We have to stand up for our brothers and sisters,
especially those with unseen injuries. Rory Diamond with K9 Warriors says he's hearing more and more complaints.
Someone who has PTSD, severe PTSD, you know, they could be suicidal, and harassing them could be a trigger that will send them down a spiral.
Just last week, Diamond helped pass an ordinance in his city of Neptune Beach to crack down on people applying for fake service dogs.
What happened, I think, with this airline is they got extremely frustrated about all these fake service dogs. So whatever we can do to pull fake service dogs out of the system will allow airlines to kind of do what they're supposed to do.
It's a hope that a 2-year fight out of Jacksonville.
This is his only victory, but he is proud of it.
Will protect veterans anywhere they want to go.
Now, in legal documents, American Airlines denies that it in any way discriminated against Crowell. It says after he was asked to deboard the plane, they made steps to accommodate him and refunded his airfare. They have 60 days, according to this order, to get that training underway. Guys?
Can you give us a question?
Don't be.
Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Explosive moments today during President-elect Donald Trump's press conference. He slammed both CNN and BuzzFeed for publishing an unverified report about his alleged ties to Russia. Now, that report claimed that Russia had compromising, personal, salacious information about Mr. Trump that could be used to blackmail him. The president-elect denied those claims. He called BuzzFeed a, quote, pile of garbage. And tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from BuzzFeed about why they decided to publish that salacious story despite it being unconfirmed. NBC News political chief Chuck Todd spoke with BuzzFeed's editor-in-chief Ben Smith on the journalistic ethics behind publishing the unverified memo. And here is a piece of what he had to say.
I'd say there were really two reasons that we did decide to publish this. But this was a document that was not just circulating at the highest levels of the intelligence community, the most powerful intelligence officials in the country, referring to it in briefings to the President of the United States, the President-elect, reportedly, disputedly. When you have an object that is in play, that is having consequences for the way our elected leaders are acting, you do have to ask the question of why should I suppress that?
Now, Todd pushed back, saying that the job of reporters is to chase down the story until verified, and not doing so in the name of transparency is a crutch for laziness. Meanwhile, BuzzFeed is already capitalizing off of this controversy, and they are now selling pile of garbage t-shirts.
Very interesting there, Heather. Well, some other developing news tonight that we are following. Duke basketball star Grayson Allen under fire once again. During a game last night, the Jacksonville native appeared to shove an FSU coach while falling out of bounds. And this has a lot of you talking. Our sports director, Chris Porter, spoke to Allen's former high school coach tonight. So, Chris, how is he reacting to this news?
Anthony, Jim Martin told me people are making much to do about nothing. In fact, he says FSU assistant coach Dennis Gates said in his Twitter statement earlier today it was a hustle play and he did not feel attacked or disrespected. So Martin says this should not even be a topic of conversation.
And Allen made the save.
The play last night against Florida State, was it a show?
Absolutely not.
Jim Martin, who coached Grayson Allen in high school, says this is not a dirty play, but a player hustling.
When I watched that play last night, I was so proud of him making a play like that.
Martin says he's been caught off guard that so much has been made about the play.
For him to have to endure all he's enduring today, I think it's totally unfair. You know, he's a great kid that plays with a lot of passion. And now we're going to scrutinize every movement he has on the court.
Allen has committed some bad fouls. In fact, at least 3 times since he's been at Duke, he's been caught tripping a player. The most recent happened back in December against Elon. Duke suspended Allen indefinitely, but he only missed 1 game.
He's apologized for some of the things he's done in the past.
Many say he's brought it on himself.
He served his punishments. He did it as a man. And then now it's time for all of us to move on and quit scrutinizing everything that he does.
Martin says he has talked with Allen about the tripping incident that happened in December.
He felt bad about what he did. He said, Coach, I'm going to move on from this. It's not going to happen again. I told him on the phone, I told him, Grayson, you've got to keep playing hard. You can't lose the passion. What makes you great is how much passion you have for this game. You can't step over the lines, but you cannot lose who you are as a player and who you are as a person.
I asked Coach Martin how Grayson's parents are dealing with all of the scrutiny. He told me it's been tough for them because they are great people and they raised a great son. Coach Martin also added he wished he had 15 Grayson Allens on his team who had Grayson's passion and love for the game.
Chris Porter, thank you very much. A local man is in trouble with the law after a wild road rage incident on the west side. Police say that he was involved in a dispute on the road and that ended with guns drawn. 2 tow truck drivers say that they saw 30-year-old Joshua King aggressively tailgating an elderly woman along Chafee Road on Sunday night. And that is when they decided to intervene. They did so by putting their own truck in front of both vehicles, allowing the woman to pass. She did, but then King allegedly retaliated, driving off the road, then stopping in front of their truck.
When he stopped in the middle of Chafee Road and reached behind his seat, I just something clicked in my head and I knew what he was doing.
That's when police say King loaded a pistol, walked out of his car, pointed his weapon at the 2 from about 20 to 30 feet away. King, though, did not fire. He eventually drove off. 15 minutes later, though, they say he returned, again pointing his weapon at the drivers. Police eventually chased King for about a quarter of a mile before finally arresting him. Not far from where little Lonzie Barton's body was found a year ago, a marker bomb today was found in the woods near Genovar Park. Someone stumbled upon it around noon while walking in that area. That person called police. Minutes later, the bomb squad showed up. They blew up the device just after 3:30 this afternoon. It's still not clear how it got there or exactly how long it had been there. No one was hurt.
Well, a suspicious letter sent to the federal courthouse in downtown Jacksonville is still under investigation tonight. The FBI telling us it was sent to the courthouse by someone known to have sent hoax anthrax letters in the past. A clerk spotted the letter but did not open the envelope. Authorities do not believe there's anything harmful inside. Well, we are just getting started tonight here on First Coast News at 11. A lot of you still outraged over the outcome of the Lonzie Barton case 1 year later. And right now, I'm actually taking a look at some of your comments on our Facebook page, showing just how important the story is to a lot of you here on the First Coast. Coming up, see what you're saying, why the punishment for his mother was just too light.
And you got to stick around and see this. This massive flooding out west has really reached a whole new level. You are not going to believe what happened to this man's home and why he needs an oar now.
And locally, our Caribbean high continues to build. It's a blocking Caribbean high and blocking more than just Arctic air. We'll take a look.
And be sure to stay up for Jimmy Fallon. He has First Lady Michelle Obama. So do you think there'll be more mom dancing tonight, Heather?
I love it. I love
Maybe
it.
so. You gotta stay up and see it. Jimmy will be here right after we're done with the news. Well, 1 year ago today, police in Jacksonville made a heartbreaking discovery. After months of searching, the remains of Lonzie Barton were found on Jacksonville's south side. His case captivated a lot of you out there in our community when he went missing in July of 2015. Multiple law enforcement agencies and volunteers from the public launched one of the largest searches in our city's history, trying to find this little boy. And many of you are talking about it on social media today, and I want to read some of those comments to you. This first one comment coming from Evelyn on our Facebook page. It says, "Poor baby, I feel for his sister too." Carly says, "No justice for that baby. You get caught with an ounce of pot and get 20 years, but you wait and cover up the killing of your son and get 5. She is a sick, twisted drug addict who needs to be sterilized." So that's Carly's comment right there, what she feels. This comment from Janita, they should be serving life sentences. And then Nicole says, "People who get caught with marijuana sometimes get longer sentencing than that. Such a dishonor to that poor baby. Misty says, Lonzie Barton touched so many hearts. Poor little angel. God has his plans for her. And then Maggie's telling us this, that she deserves more than 5 years. Shaking my head. Rest in peace, little man. Karma will take care of her and that man. So a lot of comments coming from many of you tonight. Feel free to go to our Facebook page or Twitter to share your comments with us.
Now, so many people touched by that little boy. Well, tonight, the Florida Health Department is issuing an urgent request for all residents to get a flu vaccine, and they say it's just not too late at this point. While most of the cases of the flu are mild, there are exceptions. Already this flu season, a 7-year-old and a 17-year-old have died from influenza-related deaths.
Well, we're pretty sure that people stay able to spread the virus for up to 48 hours after their last fever. In general, if you still feel unwell, then don't go to work.
Again, it's not too late to get the vaccine. That vaccine is recommended for those 6 months and older. That includes pregnant women. And it takes about 2 weeks after you get the vaccine for your body to develop protection against it.
Let's talk about some of the severe weather. This is some video that you have to see. Flood water from days of rain is destroying homes and threatening the multi-million-dollar California wine industry. We want to show you some of the still images being posted to social media. Sometimes just a picture can really convey the scope of devastation better than video. And just taking a look at these photos, you can see that one of the areas hardest hit is Sonoma County. It has gotten more than a foot of rain since Friday. And if you've ever walked down a wine aisle at the grocery store, you probably know Sonoma County wine. 60,000 acres of vineyards at more than 400 wineries are now underwater. More rain expected tomorrow. You saw that first picture there. I don't know if we have a chance to actually go back to it, but you saw someone in a kayak in their home. Inside their home. That just shows you how much water is out there right now.
Unbelievable.
Well, and yeah, it was too bad. It's such a short period of time because you can see he barely has room, it looks like, to get out of his hallway because it's almost to the top of the 8-foot hallway.
Right.
Incredible rains. Yeah. Well, a little bit of good news for Sonoma Valley, and that is that the next big storm is going to settle a little to the south of them. But where is all that energy going? Well, more to the east and the northeast, and that is well to the north of us. Why? We've been talking about it, the big Caribbean blocking high, keeping out the cold, but also this is the jet stream here, and basically the jet stream is the track in which the storms stream along, and that next storm, because this high is not going anywhere, at least not for about the next 5 to 7 days, that a couple of the storms and all of the energy out around California will eventually be ejected into southeastern Canada, and they'll be a long way off from us. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to be completely clear because it is a Caribbean high, because it's off to the east of us. It's gradually pumping up the moisture. We thought fog would begin to become an ingredient. Check it out. Up around Glenn County in some areas, visibility is now down to about a quarter of a mile, and they're dropping on Jacksonville's far west side as well. Computer models agree with the idea. We're going to have some fog late tonight and early in the morning, and then by tomorrow night and Friday morning, an added ingredient will be some sea fog beginning to work in. And once you have the combination of those two, especially for areas, let's say east of Highway 17, fog can linger for a long time. But for tomorrow, I think the fog we receive will break up. The beaches will make it up to about 70 degrees. For the beaches and everyone, don't forget the full wolf moon will rise at 7:10, middle 70s as temperatures will rise after the morning fog in Duval. We may see some upper 70s to near 80 for those of you in Clay and Putnam County, and it will be cooler over southeastern Georgia because of the flow off the ocean. Pretty similar pattern for Friday the 13th. Hopefully that spells luck for you and through the weekend and Martin Luther's King Day, and in fact, probably for about the next 7 days.
Thank you, Tim. The Jaguars holding a big press conference tomorrow. Tonight, we take a look at the questions we might finally get some answers to. Plus, the Sandalwood Saints look to march past First Coast at the Girls Gateway Conference basketball tournament. Folks, we're popping up the volume. Next in sports. Hello, everybody. I'm sure by now you've heard the Jaguars have a big press conference tomorrow morning as the team will officially introduce new Executive Vice President of Football Operations Tom Coughlin and new head coach Doug Marrone. Here's a look at what you should expect at tomorrow's presser.
We want a guy that can bring a winning culture.
For the first time since this entire process of firing Gus Bradley, hiring Tom Coughlin, naming Doug Marrone head coach, and extending general manager David Caldwell's contract got underway, we'll finally be hearing from the man who made all of the decisions final, owner Shad Khan. Not on the Bradley firing, that was understood.
I'm talking to you guys about this legacy.
But how the combination of Coughlin and Marrone came about. Many are wondering, with Coughlin's new role in the Jaguars front office, just how much control Dave Caldwell will have.
It could be a quick turnaround here.
Does Coughlin have confidence in quarterback Blake Bortles?
There's a lot of hype before the season, and that's all completely gone.
Who, besides Marrone, at least on the offensive side, will be retained from Gus Bradley's staff?
No one's going to feel sorry for you.
Here's what we do know. Both Marrone and Caldwell will be answering to Coughlin. And the First Coast Sports team is going to have you covered on air and online, beginning at 9:55 in the morning from Everbank, per Tom Coughlin.
Also, Gus Bradley could be heading to the nation's capital. He interviewed for the Washington Redskins defensive coordinator job today. Bradley could be reuniting with the Redskins general manager, who was a part of the Seahawks organization when Gus was there as the Hawks defensive coordinator. Pat Clark's young and talented Sandalwood Saints welcome First Coast to the South Side for some second-round action in the Girls Gateway Conference basketball tournament. Clark telling me his team is young, very talented, and at some point they will be a force to reckon with now and in the future. That is Amari Wright, who said, pardon me, that is Caitlin McGee, who says, talk to the hand. Amari Wright gets it done on the other end. Then Wright says, you know what, it's better to give than to receive. To Nadia Matthews, deep, double OT, good. The Saints, they were not done. McGee giving the defense the business. The Saints are marching on. They will face Terry Parker tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. They won a final 61-31. Ponte Vedra resident Jim Furyk has been named U.S. captain for the 2018 Ryder Cup in France. He'll be in charge of a team that will try to win on European soil for the first time since 1993. The Americans ended a 3-match losing streak late last year in Minnesota with a 17-11 victory. Furyk has played on 9 consecutive Ryder Cup teams and has a 10-20-4 record. He played on only 2 winning teams in 1999 and then in 2008. Hashtag Team Sideline. And you know what? Hashtag Team Sideline is so beautiful because sometimes you can show your spirit, and then sometimes it just shows this team all coming together, praying for each other. There we go. I'm gonna get it out. George Davis, thank you so much for posting this picture. Church of the Highlands, 21 days of prayer with Church of the Highlands. Remember, you can always post your pictures on Instagram or Twitter using the hashtag Team Sideline. We're back to your Fantasy 5 winning numbers after this time.